Have you ever watched a horror film and thought,
I could survive that situation. I wouldn't have made that dumb decision. I have survival plans that I would like to post publicly for other people to see.
that's where this show comes in. I'm Ian David Mayo, and this is Pros vs. Goners.
Post your survival plans in the comment section below for a chance for it to be featured in next week's episode. And now, for a quick recap on last week's scenario.
Lately, you've been plagued with nightmares. In these nightmares, you're chased by a burned man with a claw hand. During one of these dreams, he slashed and tore your clothes, and when you awoke, you saw your clothes were torn in the exact same way. You concluded that if he kills you in your dream, you will be dead in reality. How do you plan to survive against your own nightmare?
Roberto Rodriguez said, I would have dream catchers all over my room, dab holy water on my forehead, and talk to a psychic. Try every means possible to weaken his presence in my dream. Since I would be stronger, I would make my dream into his nightmare and make him fear me. I would just finish him off by throwing him into the furnace. That's a great plan. Trying out different methods is a good rule of thumb. It's good to try a bit of everything and hope that at least one of those things will weaken the slasher. There's a risk as far as many of those things you mentioned being questionably effective to begin with. The only thing is that you may only have a day to do this, or at least until you get so exhausted that you pass out. Without a clear plan to stay awake effectively, I'd say you're a goner unless you encounter the means of weakening the slasher. Mako Junkie said, if I can be hurt by the nightmare creature, then it's possible to practice lucid dreaming. Become the master of my nightmare and confront the creature in an epic duel of wills within my own mind. My mind weapons will slay the creature, and I'd survive the night. Even if it isn't a permanent death, I'd slay him every night in my dreams until he got tired and gave up. Training yourself in learning to control your dreams consciously is a great plan. The only risk is how you'd plan to practice without falling asleep yourself. To get a hold of that skill set, you're bound to fail in all likelihood in the means of practicing and trying to get the lucid dreaming right, which puts you at a further risk of being killed. I'd say you're a goner unless you were able to achieve figuring out the lucid dreaming on your first 2 tries. The Terry Mayo said, first I would need to get some uppers. Speed, diet pills, cocaine, meth, whatever I could get my hands on. So I could stay awake as long as I needed to complete my training. I would seek out education on lucid dreaming, do cocaine, and train on this. Once I felt confident in controlling my dream, stop doing coke and take a melatonin. I would make myself more powerful or him weaker in the dream until I could trap him, then dream of bringing him into the real world to destroy him. That's definitely a good plan for staying awake. The only risk you run is how things may mix together and affect your body, but assuming you can overcome the slasher with your lucid dreaming research and training, then you could just worry about how your body was affected by the drugs later and just be happy that you didn't get murdered by the slasher. The issue with this, along with Mako Junkie's comment, is how you train to lucidly dream without falling asleep and running the risk of being killed. But as the comment with the best plan for staying awake to allow you more time to figure it all out, I'd say you're a survival pro. For this week's scenario, we're looking at the movie Circle, released in 2015. It's a movie based on 12 Angry Men, and it consists of a large cast trying to figure out the nature of their situation and what it means for them. A thrilling movie that takes place all in one room, becomes about how people are different while being very much the same. The scenario goes like this. You wake up in a room with 50 other people standing in a circle. Suddenly someone gets shot with light from a sphere in the center of the room. Anyone that steps off their tile in the room gets shot with light from the sphere. You come to the realization that every 2 minutes someone gets shot. The group of people you are with realize that everyone has control over who gets shot through the process of voting, moving their hand to control a marker on the floor that shows who they are voting for. No one can see who another person votes for, they can only see their own vote. You can't vote for yourself, and when there's a tie, someone randomly from the tie dies if no one votes, or the vote is tied between them again. It is assumed that the last man standing is the one that gets to live. How do you plan to survive?